Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha Television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Election dates announced for 5 states. Single-phase voting for Goa and Punjab on the 4th of February. 7-phase elections for Uttar Pradesh. Counting of votes on March 11th. Two-day GST Council meet ends. Opposition-ruled states say April 1st target date for rollout. Elusive BJP-ruled Gujarat says GST could be a reality only from September. Justice Jagdish Singh Khehar sworn in as the 44th Chief Justice of India. Tenure of the first Sikh Chief Justice of India will last till August this year. Turkish police detain at least 5 suspected Islamic State group terrorists for deadly Istanbul nightclub attack. Gunman identified, but attacker still remains at large. The Election Commission has announced the dates for the assembly polls in 5 states. While Goa, Punjab and Uttarakhand will have polls in 1 phase, Manipur will have a 2-phase poll and Uttar Pradesh will have 7 phases. 16 crore voters in 5 states are all set to exercise their franchise to elect new state governments in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur. The Election Commission announced the schedule for the assembly elections on Wednesday. Accordingly, Uttar Pradesh will go to polls in 7 phases on February 11th, 15th, 19th, 23rd, 27th and March 4th and 8th. Punjab and Goa will have elections on February 4th. Uttarakhand on February 15th. Manipur in 2 phases on the 4th and 8th of March. Counting for all states will be held on March 11th. CEC Naseem Zaidi said while the model code of conduct will come into effect immediately, candidates have been asked to make all expenses and receive donations about 20,000 rupees through checks.
Our media monitoring committee at district level will monitor whether these TV channels owned by political parties or candidates are carrying out publicity of their candidates, and such expenses will be included in the expenses of candidates.
In an attempt to make the voting process more voter-friendly, the use of VVPAT machines will be increased and the picture of the candidate will also appear on the EVM machine.
VVPAT machines will be used in increasing number in certain identified legislative assembly constituencies. Commission has decided that Goa state will be saturated with VVPAT. Ballot paper on electronic voting machines will have the photo of candidates. This is a new feature for these states.
The Chief Election Commissioner also said the internal feud in the ruling Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh is under consideration. The Commission has also received a petition seeking to restrict the central government from presenting the budget on the 1st of February.
पिछले 2-3 दिन में हमारे पास प्रत्यावेदन आए हैं दोनों समूहों की तरफ से, एक श्री मुलायम सिंह जी की ओर से और दूसरा श्री राम गोपाल यादव एंड श्री अखिलेश यादव जी की ओर से। कल शाम श्री राम गोपाल यादव की ओर से एक डॉक्यूमेंट्स का पूरा डिटेल हमारे कमीशन में प्रस्तुत किया गया है। कमीशन सिंबल ऑर्डर के अंतर्गत पुराने प्रेसिडेंट्स को ध्यान में रख करके और निर्धारित प्रक्रिया जो हमेशा से फॉलो की गई कमीशन में, उसके तहत जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स हमारे सामने पेश किए गए हैं उसका परीक्षण करेंगे, एग्जामिन करेंगे और उस पर उचित निर्णय उचित समय पर लेंगे।
Each family will get a voter guide with details of the voting procedure. 1,85,000 polling stations will be set up for the 690 assembly constituencies in 5 states. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the feud within the Samajwadi Party refuses to die down. On Wednesday, 2 efforts to find a midway continued, with Azam Khan renewing efforts to broker peace between Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav. Khan met Mulayam Singh Yadav at his residence during the day, even as Shivpal Yadav also met his elder brother as they tried to figure out their next step in the family saga. Akhilesh Yadav had met Mulayam on Tuesday too, but with both sides unrelenting, no solution was to be found.
संवाद का दरवाजा बंद नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर संवाद का दरवाजा बंद हो जाएगा तो फिर बात बिगड़ने के सिवा कुछ नहीं है। तो कंफ्यूजन की राजनीति नहीं होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल बात साफ साफ होनी चाहिए। जो भी बात तय हो वो बिल्कुल एक तरफा हो।
अखिलेश के नेतृत्व में जो चुनाव लड़ा जाए, उसी पार्टी को, उसी समाजवादी पार्टी को वो समर्थन करें और उन्हें फिर से मुख्यमंत्री बनाएं।
And on the day when the Election Commission announced the dates for the Uttar Pradesh election, the leading contender for the People's Mandate, the Samajwadi Party, is still grappling with the tussle over leadership. It said that the family feud started with a 4-page letter written by MLC Udayveer Singh in October. Udayveer cautioned the Samajwadi Party chief Mulayam Singh against the conspiracies being hatched in his family. Expelled from the party later, Udayveer spoke to Rajya Sabha television about the issues that are dragging down the party.
मेरे साथ हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री अखिलेश यादव के करीबी माने जाने वाले एमएलसी उदयवीर सिंह जी कि आपकी पार्टी में चल क्या रहा है? स्क्रिप्ट है, नाटक है या फिर वाकई ये वर्चस्व की लड़ाई है?
कोई भी राजनीतिक समझदार व्यक्ति ये नहीं कह सकता कि ये स्क्रिप्ट है या नाटक है, और मैं ये कहूँगा आपसे ना ये वर्चस्व की लड़ाई है।
कुछ लोग कौन है ये? अमर सिंह का तो लगातार नाम आप लोग लेते आए, बाकी ये कुछ लोग और कौन है?
अमर सिंह जी हैं, हमारे प्रदेश के अध्यक्ष शिवपाल सिंह जी हैं, जिनकी जो भी महत्वाकांक्षाएं थी उनका इस्तेमाल अमर सिंह जी ने किया। उसके अलावा कुछ सीनियर लीडर्स भी थे जो सोचते हैं कि जैसी राजनीति है वैसी ही रहनी चाहिए, हमारी स्पेस कम नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो मुख्यमंत्री इस कन्वेंशन से ये साबित हुआ कि सब तरह के लोगों का मुख्यमंत्री को समर्थन है, जनता का समर्थन है, कार्यकर्ताओं का समर्थन है।
अच्छा ये बताइए उदयवीर जी, क्या सुलह होगी?
कोई झगड़ा नहीं है जिसकी सुलह हो। सैद्धांतिक बातें हैं। मुख्यमंत्री जी नहीं चाहते कि ऐसे लोगों को पार्टी में लिया जाए जिनसे पार्टी की लंबे समय के लिए छवि खराब हो, या उनकी खुद की छवि खराब हो या सरकार की छवि खराब हो।
तो साफ तौर पर उदयवीर जी का कहना है कि अखिलेश यादव अब एक ब्रांड की तरह उभर गए हैं। लखनऊ से कैमरामैन शिव कुमार के साथ कृति मिश्रा, राज्यसभा टीवी।
And joining me for a chat right now is our correspondent Kriti Mishra, live from Lucknow. Kriti, as far as the family saga in the Samajwadi Party is concerned, you know, we've seen a lot of twists and turns, but what is the latest that you're getting from Lucknow?
Well, Frank, the Samajwadi Party scuffle is far from over. In fact, a lot of efforts were put throughout the day today to douse dissent in the warring factions of the Samajwadi Party. Now, party insiders tell me that Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav has 3 very specific demands. 1, expulsion of Amar Singh. 2nd, non-interference of Shivpal Yadav. And 3rd, complete control, autonomy and authority over ticket distribution. But sources are telling us that Mulayam Singh Yadav is not ready to relent. Now, of course, election dates have also been announced. Now, let's wait and watch whether these two sides align or actually the stalemate persists. Over to you, Frank.
Well, talking about the election dates being announced, let's not forget the crucial issue of the symbol that, you know, either Mulayam Singh Yadav or Akhilesh Yadav are going to use is also up for contention as far as the Election Commission is concerned. Now, that matter also is being watched very closely.
Well, that's true, Frank. As far as Akhilesh's camp is concerned, they claim that 90% of the party is rallying behind Akhilesh Yadav. Meanwhile, Mulayam Singh Yadav's camp says, it says that Mulayam Singh Yadav technically has an edge because the bylaws, they say so. So let's see, now the ball is in the Election Commission's court, and if this issue is not resolved, both the sides could be given ad hoc names and ad hoc symbols, and they would have to go for the elections with new symbols.
Indeed.
Over to you, Frank.
And Kriti, you've been in Lucknow for a few days now. What is the sense that you're picking up really from the party cadre as such? What is the mood among the party cadre in the state's capital?
Well, they are highly divided. Camps are distinct. One camp is Akhilesh's camp, the other camp is Mulayam Singh Yadav's camp, and they're very specific. As far as Akhilesh supporters are concerned, they're saying that Akhilesh is a young sign of the Samajwadi Party, and he actually represents the Samajwadi Party. A lot of MLAs, Akhilesh's camp says that almost 90% of the MLAs are supporting Akhilesh Yadav. Meanwhile, Mulayam Singh Yadav's camp says that Mulayam Singh Yadav is the one who has established the party. Shivpal Yadav has nurtured the party, and it is not right to relegate them. So as far as these two factions are concerned, all people who owe allegiance to Akhilesh talk about Akhilesh, and people who owe allegiance to Mulayam Singh Yadav talk about Mulayam Singh Yadav.
All right,
Frank?
Kriti Mishra, we'll have to leave to that. Thank you so much for joining us there with those details, where it's clear now, of course, that the family feud within the Samajwadi Party is far from over. Moving on now. A day after the CBI arrested Trinamool Congress leader Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, TMC party workers hit the streets in West Bengal and New Delhi in protest. Demonstrators also picketed Union Minister Babul Supriyo's residence in Kolkata, demanding his arrest. The BJP headquarters was attacked yesterday by people carrying TMC flags. Alleging growing lawlessness in the state, the party urged Governor K.N. Tripathi to send a report to the centre demanding imposition of president's rule. A TMC delegation led by Party Secretary General Partha Chatterjee also met the governor and complained of political vendetta by the centre against TMC. The TMC also took out processions at various places, organised rail blockade and staged protests in Delhi. Party MPs took out a protest march towards the Prime Minister's residence. They were taken into police custody before they could reach 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. Bandyopadhyay is the second TMC MP after Tapas Pal to be arrested within a week in connection with the Rose Valley chit fund scam. Mamata Banerjee has accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of using central agencies like the CBI, Enforcement Directorate and Income Tax Department against his political rivals.
This is Modi Hatao, Desh Bachao. This is not only financial emergency. When Parliament was on, we were saying it was financial emergency. Now we are saying this is against emergency, this is against political vendetta, this is against arresting people. They have doing these things because we are opposed to नोटबंदी.
दुर्भाग्य से ममता बनर्जी भ्रष्टाचारियों की चैंपियन हो गई हैं, उनकी वकील बन रही हैं और संविधान को भी तार-तार कर रही हैं. ये देश कानून से चलता है. ममता बनर्जी आपकी दादागिरी से देश नहीं चलता है. तो हम विनम्र प्रार्थना करना चाहते हैं ममता बनर्जी को कि अनर्गल आरोप लगाना बंद करिए, कानून का सहयोग करिए. जिसने भी भ्रष्टाचार किया है, जिसने भी गरीब को लूटने का काम किया है, उनके खिलाफ सख्त एजेंसियां कार्रवाई करेंगी.
Well, moving on to other news now, MK Stalin has been appointed as the working president of the DMK at a general body meeting of the party. This was the first time in 48 years that party patriarch M. Karunanidhi did not participate in a general body meeting. Stalin is the second son of Dayalu Amal and Karunanidhi, and he had to win his biggest internal party battle against elder brother M.K. Alagiri, who controlled the southern helm of Tamil Nadu until the period he was evicted from the party. After taking charge, Stalin said that he would stand by his father Karunanidhi's views and do what he says. He also said that being working president was not just a post but a responsibility. Before being elected president, Stalin was the treasurer in the party. But the deteriorating health of Patriarch M. Karunanidhi forced the party to look at younger leaders. Well, it's time now for a short break, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Letter which you have written seeking a fair selection process as far as the national awards are concerned.
People who are in charge of the conduct of the national awards and also Indian panorama, they seem to be totally unaware of what these are meant for.
Many of the critics of your films, they say that your films don't communicate with the common man.
Who is the common man?
Do you think that in a democratic setup like India, censorship really can thrive as a concept?
It's a very wrong concept. There should not be any censorship in any form, anywhere.
Watch To The Point with the man who revolutionized Malayalam cinema, Adur Gopalakrishnan, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Homai Vyarawala, better known by her pseudonym Dalda 13, was India's first woman photojournalist. Vyarawala entered the field of photojournalism in the late 1930s. For nearly 30 years, till she retired in the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, she made a massive impact. Vyarawala clicked some iconic pictures of political and national leaders. Gandhiji, Nehru, Jinnah, Indira Gandhi have been subjects of her vast photographic collection. Prime Minister Nehru, she says, was her favourite. In 2011, Homai Vyarawala was conferred the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the deadlock over the goods and services tax continues, with the centre and states refusing to budge from their respective positions on issues like control of taxpayers and taxing high sea trade. This is a stalemate that threatens to delay the rollout till September. The two-day meeting of the GST Council, the 8th in a row, made little headway in brokering a solution, even as non-BJP-ruled states saw September as the more likely deadline for the rollout of the indirect tax regime. The next meeting of the Council will be held on January 16th, where the issue of jurisdiction or assessees would be discussed. Kerala Finance Minister Thomas Isaac said that the other remaining issues before the GST Council include ways to fund the compensation to states for GST rollout and states' participation in integrated GST.
We'll be meeting again on the 16th of this month, and I have a sitting to really conclude the discussion on those specific points. The drafts have been now, the legal drafts with the gaps, the gap means the undecided issue, are now being sent for legal vetting, after which they'll be circulated in the GST Council for a formal approval. Now, obviously, when I refer to the gaps, it refers predominantly to 2 or 3 issues, or issues falling under 2 big heads. And if I may just illustratively explain to you, the first retains to the definition of the word territory, and the second deals with both cross-empowerment and dual control.
Moving on, now Justice Jagdish Singh Khehar was sworn in as the 44th Chief Justice of India on Wednesday. President Pranab Mukherjee administered him the oath of office in secrecy at Rashtrapati Bhavan. 64-year-old Justice Khehar replaces Justice T.S. Thakur, whose tenure ended on Tuesday. He is the first Sikh Chief Justice of India, and his tenure will last till August this year. Then CJI T.S. Thakur had last month recommended Justice Khehar's name, the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court, to be his successor. Justice Khehar led the 5-judge Constitution bench in the Supreme Court, which had struck down the controversial NJAC Act for appointment of judges. He also headed the bench that had set aside the imposition of President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. Here's a roundup of the other national news in our segment Nationwide. A Delhi court has granted bail to Sanjeev Tyagi, cousin of ex-IAF chief SP Tyagi, and lawyer Gautam Khaitan in the Augusta Westland chopper scam case. The CBI's petition challenging the bail granted to SP Tyagi will be heard on January 9th. Tyagi was arrested by the CBI for alleged irregularities in procurement of 12 VVIP choppers from UK-based Augusta Westland during the UPA-2 regime. The Supreme Court has said that it will conduct day-to-day hearing on the appeals filed by Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala against the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal on water sharing. The Apex Court also reiterated its previous order and said that it will remain effective till further orders. On October 18th, the court had directed Karnataka to keep releasing 2,000 cusecs of Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu. Srinagar recorded the first snowfall of the season as most areas in the valley received overnight snow and rains. Srinagar has received rainfall of 12.4 mm during the last 24 hours, ending the state's longest dry spell in 40 years. The city recorded a minimum temperature of minus 0.1 degrees Celsius, while in Gulmarg it was minus 3.6 degrees. Moving on to some international news now. Turkey has established the identity of the gunman who killed 39 people in the New Year's Eve attack on an Istanbul nightclub. The Turkish foreign minister did not identify the attacker but emphasized that the Reyna nightclub attack was staged by professionals. The gunman, however, is still at large. Meanwhile, the Turkish police detained at least 5 suspected Islamic State group terrorists believed to be linked to the nightclub attack. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said that the attack on New Year's Day was a deliberate attempt to divide the nation and that the state never meddled in how people lived. In another development, Turkish Parliament voted to extend emergency rule by 3 months. Emergency was first imposed in Turkey after an abortive military coup on July 15th. The emergency enables the government to bypass Parliament in enacting new laws and to limit or suspend rights and freedoms when deemed necessary. Turkey has formally arrested more than 40,000 people during the investigation of the coup.
Mesela Gaziantep saldırısına gösterilmeyen bu türden tepkiler ve yapılmayan değerlendirmeler Ortaköy saldırısına yapılınca oraya soru işaretini koymamız gerekiyor.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. Hundreds of inmates escaped from a South Philippines prison after gunmen launched an attack. The authorities suspect the gunmen to be linked with Islamist separatist group. Around 100 armed men stormed the jail and engaged in a shootout with guards as prisoners fled in the chaos. 6 of the inmates were killed in firefights, while 8 others have been caught. Britain's ambassador to the European Union, Ivan Rogers, abruptly resigned just 3 months before formal Brexit negotiations are to start. Rogers did not explain the reasons for resigning. The resignation is the second by a senior British EU official in the wake of the referendum. British Prime Minister Theresa May had said that she will trigger formal Brexit talks by the end of March. Republican Representative Paul Ryan was re-elected Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. Ryan, who was first elected Speaker in October 2015, was chosen again in a vote of 239 to 189. Republicans have majorities in both the House and Senate for the first time since 2007. Well, moving on to some sports news now. India's one-day international and T20 international captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni has stepped down as captain of the Indian team. Dhoni, however, will be available for the selection for the one-day and T20 series against England. Teams for the ODIs and T20 series will be announced on Friday. Test captain Virat Kohli is likely to lead the side in all 3 formats of the game. Well, here's a roundup now of the other sports news in Sports Beat. India's Yuki Bambri advanced to the second round of the Chennai Open after beating compatriot Ramkumar Ramanathan 6-1, 6-1 on Tuesday. However, India's highest-ranked singles player Saket Mainini crashed out in the opening round after losing to 7th seed and world number 57 Mikhail Yuzny of Russia in straight sets. In the Hopman Cup, France's Kristina Mladenovic and Richard Gasquet won their singles matches to give France victory over Britain. Gasquet and Mladenovic then won the mixed doubles tie to make the final score 3-0 for France. Meanwhile, Switzerland defeated Germany 2-1. Both France and Switzerland will play their final round-robin match against each other on Friday. Azhar Ali and Yunus Khan led Pakistan's first innings reply against Australia in the third test in Sydney. Both batsmen completed half-centuries as Pakistan ended day 2 on 126 for 2, still trailing by 412 runs. Earlier, the hosts Australia declared their first innings at 538 for 8. Peter Hanscom joined David Warner and Matthew Renshaw as the third centurion of the Australian innings. Premier League team Hull City sacked head coach Mike Phelan on Tuesday. Phelan took over as caretaker manager following Steve Bruce's departure. He was given a permanent appointment in October. However, a series of poor performances saw Hull City picking up 3 points from their last 9 games as they slipped into the relegation zone. Well, that's it on this edition of the News Tonight. Good night.